Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we were just starting off our day talking about garage sales.
I love a good garage sale.
Well, if they didn't start so early.
I know. I can remember back in the day getting up really early with my grandma and my mom and going like really early to get the good stuff.
Really?
I don't do that anymore. If I go to one and I happen to cross one, it's fine, but I don't get up early.
Yeah, I don't get up early to do it. I didn't get up early to do this. This last weekend was town-wide garage sales. And but we went camping this weekend, and so I got up because I had to go to the shop for just a little bit. And I'm like, I'm going to go for a good pause. Had a big garage sale. They had some of Margaret Duke and Georgiana Fagan's items that they had those ladies generously donated to them after the families after they passed, and so for a good cause could make some money off of it. And this vase right here, you want to zoom in on this beautiful little vase? I got this vase. This belonged to Georgiana Fagan. I am a I'm a pottery gal. There you go. Look how beautiful that vase is. And the picture doesn't even do it justice. This is more pink, like the color of my fingernails. But yeah, isn't that a beautiful vase?
Very pretty.
See, I love stuff like that. So, of course, when I got there, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to buy up a bunch of stuff, and we're just going to bring some pretty stuff here. Now, the back of it's not as pretty. It's just plain, but the front.
Yeah, that is pretty.
Yeah.
And you bought me something while you were there.
I did. I picked up this quilt for Beth.
A sunbonnet Sue, an old sunbonnet Sue. That's the name of the pattern.
Yeah, I saw that, and and I was like, oh gosh, I picked it up. I picked it up for Beth, and I'm like, oh, she'll like this. It's just an old quilt. I don't know my quilt from nothing. And so I was like, I'm going to get it. And I'm like, walked away because it was, quilts are kind of pricey. And then she shot me back a better price. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that. Because I was going to, actually, this is how it works. Because I was like walking around, I had all this pottery because I bought quite a few vases. And so I bought some vases and some pottery. And then I was like, took this box to my car. And then I was like going back in. I'm like, I'm just going to go get that quilt. And I was walking back in. She was like, hey, Stacey, would you give? Well, of course you were worth the full price. I just happened to get a little bit of a discount from it. So.
Yeah, well, that was awesome. Thank you for that.
But yeah, beautiful weekend.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to that sale. I just got busy and couldn't make it. And I get it that they picked May to do townwide because the weather's nice, but there's so many other things going on in May that I don't know. Could they move it to June?
You know what? Do you think our lives would? Do we really? Is there really one month that's busier?
Yes,
I
May
feel like
is the worst.
Yeah, well, because you have kids and kids are still in school.
Yeah,
now that will change.
Yeah.
And May won't be quite so crazy.
Okay, good.
It will change. I'm giving you hope for the future.
Thank you.
It will not, but because I'm thinking, this month is busy. Oh, well, that month is, that month.
You're right. Every month has something. You're right about that. But
Every
I just
month
feel
is
like
crazy.
May has everything.
Yeah, May is
insane.
it is with graduation parties and I didn't make it to Summit. Well, and Jack's birthday's, my grandson's birthday's right in there with it, and so we had a birthday party. So I missed a couple. I always feel bad when I miss graduation.
I know.
Parties.
I missed a couple too, and I felt really bad about that because I really thought I would try to go to everything I was invited to. I couldn't make it. I'm sorry.
I think that's the biggest thing because like back when I graduated, we didn't have parties.
Yeah.
Nobody had a party back in the 80s.
Okay.
We didn't have parties. People just said, people brought you presents.
Oh, that's good.
They would bring you stuff or just bring it to the house, but to have a party didn't happen.
We had a family party for my graduation. I don't remember inviting any type of friends or like, anyone that wasn't in our family, but it was just a family thing.
Yeah, we didn't. No, graduated, went home, And then, like I said, there were cards mailed. A lot of people came away with a ton of stuff because back in the day, like my mom and dad's friends, like Jack and Bonnie Thatcher, and Kay and Leo Spitzner and all those guys, that grew up. I mean, checks were coming in the mail. I think I prefer that over the party.
Yeah. I would prefer that too. Yeah, I remember getting quite a bit of cash and checks when I graduated. Yeah. And that was nice because it kind of got me started for whatever was next, you know.
Yeah, next in the future.
Yeah.
A trip shopping.
Yeah.
But I made it to Fergus Paus's rummage sale, and that was it. Mm-hmm. By that time, I was tired because I was still going out camping. I still had to go to the store. I was done.
Yeah.
And I went to the shop for a little bit to work, so I was over it by that time. Mm-hmm. Had to run the bank.
Yeah.
Haven't paid my utility bill yet. I'm 5 days late on my utility bill.
Oh.
6 days late on my shop utility bill.
What?
I can't find my checkbook.
Oh my gosh.
And then I haven't had time to run up there. And
ours comes out automatically out of our account. So
you know what? I think I'm going to set that up.
I really
I need to do
advise you to do that because we didn't used to. And it used to be every month I wrote a check, drive to City Hall, deliver it.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
But then one month, I don't know if we lost a checkbook or I think we lost the bill. I think the bill got misplaced.
Yeah.
And it's a small town. They called and they're like, you're never late.
I love that.
Just letting you know you're behind on your, it's like been a week or something.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I'm like, I hadn't looked at the calendar. And then from that moment on, I was like, let's just set that automatic thing up because I'm terrified of.
It's not like you're not paying
it. I know.
It's not like you're not going to pay it. It's like at home, ours automatically comes out. But I pay. So here's where I get confused. I pay Jim pays the one at home comes automatic. I pay my shop utility bill. I pay Nostalgia Theater's utility bill, and now I pay Early Wine Properties or Airbnb's utility. So I have 3 utility bills.
Oh my gosh!
The confusing part of it is the one because the salon is in the theater. So that one big building has 3 addresses.
Yes.
So I have my shop. I have the 118 East North Avenue. The big building is on its own utilities, 120 East North Avenue. And then, that little side room? That is 122 East North Avenue. So in that one building, I've got 3.
Oh, my gosh.
3 to pay, and then I have the hair salon, and then I have Early Wine Properties. So I'm actually writing,
Whoa.
I'm writing 3 checks because
you need to just give them all of your account information and have all of those set up.
When we leave here today.
Yes.
After, I'm calling up and be like, you know what? I can't find my checkbook. That's the big beauty of a small town. They'll call me and be like, Stacey.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I get busy and I forget.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can just call.
I know, and it's the same with some other offices around here because a few weeks ago I didn't realize that. One of our state farm policies was due. So they've recently redid how they bill everybody, and instead of I don't know, they used to get a bill for every policy, but now they've kind of grouped the policies or something, or you have one account. Anyway, it messed the dates up that I had in my head, and they just sent me a text. They're like, "Hey, it's so and so at State Farm, and just letting you know town. This one thing is late." And I was like, "Well, I'll be right there." But
I'm the world's worst. Yeah, I am the.
But that's the awesome thing about a small town because if we were in a city, we would not get a reminder.
No, if we was in the city, I would be putting hair color on somebody's hair and turning on the water. There wouldn't be any water.
Yeah, how awful would that be?
So so I gotta call the city of Flora. You may have to in between.
Yeah, we're in a basement, so we have weird signal. My phone will occasionally work. Stacy's never
works. It never works down here. Yeah, but I'll call the city of Flora once 9:00 hits. After we record our first show, then I'll be like, because we're not live. I wish we were live. If we were live, we'd have call-ins.
We would have call-ins and a live studio audience.
And
actually, my youngest son, he is 12, and he said that now he's going to be on summer vacation, so he's hoping to come watch us record at least once this summer.
Oh, he is?
He's going to be our live studio audience.
Did you tell him he's going to sit there and be quiet for
he will.
For 2 hours?
Yeah, he will. He will. He'll be fine. But yeah, he wants to see it in action.
Oh, well, it's impressive. It's impressive, people, just telling you.
You got an ad for us?
I do have an ad. And I picked up I just love this book. I don't know what I'm going to do when I go after I get done showing everybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
I found something interesting because I found this 1952, and it's a Colgate ad, but it's prevent tooth decay Colgate, but they're selling Colgate ammoniated tooth powder.
Okay.
What does ammoniated mean?
Has ammonia in it?
That's probably bad, right?
They added ammonia?
Dental research indicates you can help prevent tooth decay with Colgate ammoniated tooth powder. Yes, Colgate's great. Dentifrice.
They're just throwing out big words now.
I think so too. Right?
Dentifrice.
Dentifrice gives extra protection as it cleans your teeth and breath. Removes acid film. usually associated with tooth decay. Laboratory tests indicate that Colgate ammoniated tooth powder may help you avoid pain, worry, and expense of needless tooth decay. When used regularly, teeth look cleaner, feel cleaner immediately.
Oh.
That's because Colgate's foaming cleaning action removes dulling films so well teeth get naturally sparkling clean. Cleanses breath too. Removes tiny food particles that cause much bad breath. Has a minty, mouth refreshing flavor that even children love. Get Colgate ammoniated tooth powder today for the whole family, available at any toilet goods counter. 4 ounces, 47 cents. 2 ounces, 27 cents. Good housekeeping. It's guaranteed by Good Housekeeping with a flavor the whole family will enjoy. But I have questions. I have questions too.
So I'm looking at the picture, mother and son here. He has his hand out, and she's just dumping this powder in his hand. Now, they only bought 2 ounces or 4 ounces at a time.
That's right.
You know, there's not a lot there, but she's just giving him a pile of this stuff in his hand, and he's not putting it on his brush. What's he going to do? Just toss it in his mouth?
I don't know.
What's happening?
But have you ever, brushed your teeth with baking soda?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you a good, nice... I'll do that sometimes.
I actually did that all through high school. I would have a paper plate, and I would mix peroxide and baking soda together and make a paste.
So you were
brush my teeth with that.
You were already on top of
because it was supposed to be whitening.
And it does, doesn't
it?
it?
It was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah, but first of all, it was the fact that it was a tooth powder. I'd never heard of that.
Me
Makes
either.
you wonder if Colgate came out with a tooth powder before they came out with a toothpaste.
Oh, maybe so.
I bet that's their first invention.
Maybe he was mixing his little pharmaceutical toothpaste on his palm.
Could be.
And there wasn't actually toothpaste
I just
yet.
dump baking soda on my toothbrush and go to town, man.
Okay.
And then but I never did mix it with peroxide, like hydrogen peroxide, like that you clean a wound with.
And then I read about that in 17 magazine.
Oh, 17 magazine. Wow. That was a great magazine, actually. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that ammoniated. I'm like, that can't be good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking, nope. Probably not good.
I'm going to take a hard pass on that.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about Angelo's Cafe.
We are.
Or, more importantly, Ann Venable's family. And how do you say their last name?
Sharikas.
Sharikas, not Cherikas?
No, because it looks like that, but she said it. Well, Sharikas.
She would know. Well,
she
are
would
Greek.
Know. Yeah,
they're
Greek family that
I still
lived in Flora for years.
Cherikas, but it is Sharikas. But yeah, so I'm interested in that. We'll sit down and we'll talk about how we had an interview with Ann Venable, which was fun in itself.
Fantastic.
So
Love
we'll
Ann.
be right back after this commercial break.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we are discussing the family of Ann Venable. Ann lives here in Flora and is a wonderful, sweet lady that we love so much. And she has a very interesting family history. Her dad's side was full-blooded Greek, and her mother's side was Cherokee Indian. Her grandmother was a full-blooded Indian. It was her great-grandmother. That was a full-blooded Indian. But we have pictures of these people, and it's fascinating. And so we're kind of going to cover both sides of Ann's family, and we're going to bounce around a little bit because we have a lot of great pictures, and we're just kind of going to talk about both sides.
Right. It's fun. So this is only the second live interview we've ever done. Yes. With the exception, Don Thomas doesn't count because he's like our best friend.
Right.
So Don doesn't count.
Right, because we talk to him all the time.
Yeah, we talk to him all the time, and Baylor doesn't count either because John Baylor doesn't get to count because we see him all the time. So we had the greatest time. We sat down with Margie and Margaret, the twins, Margaret Duke and Margie Yinks. That was awesome. So then it was just like, who else would we want to sit down with? And Ann Venable came up because Ann Venable is a hoot. To the hoot hoot. It was so much fun.
It was a great time, and she has a really interesting family history, and she knows a lot about it, and she has tons of pictures, and she contacted a cousin who I believe lives in Greece. And got her some more information. And when I say that they are Greek, there's a lot of people that could say, well, I'm English or I'm German because I could go back 4 or 5 generations and my family came from Germany. No, not with Ann. It was like her.
Opa! They're Greek.
Her dad came over from Greece. The first time he was a young man, and he got here and he got to, I believe it was Ellis Island.
Yes.
And they wouldn't let him in the country. It was so different than today. They wouldn't let him in the country because he did not have a sponsor.
Yes, he was underage.
He was underage, and his sponsor was not there to pick him up.
Yes.
And so they just put him back on a boat.
Back on the boat!
And back to Greece he went. So then he waited a little while. See, he had a brother.
Yeah.
Let's talk about his brother.
Let's talk about George.
Okay, so he had a brother, and his name was George. And he was already living here. And he, in fact, was probably in West Frankfort, Illinois, working in the coal mines. He had written to Ann's dad, whose name was Angelo. Okay, so he had written to Angelo and said, hey, come on over here. Things are great. But he didn't go to Ellis Island to pick him up, which was a big mistake.
Yeah.
So then they sent Angelo back.
They probably don't tell you that.
Yeah, probably not a lot of communication. And if there's also a language barrier at this time.
Right, because I'm thinking like when you come to Ellis Island, it's not like come. I mean, it's just like that's just the stopping point when people did it when they did it legally. So George was working in a coal mine.
Yes.
And hated it in West Frankfort, which I can only imagine.
And so anyway, Angelo went back to Greece, but then he waited a while and he came back. And that time George met him at Ellis Island. And then they both ended up in West Frankfort, worked in the coal mines. They lived in a boxcar.
Yeah.
They were really unhappy. They quit the mines though, and they started cooking, and they realized that they were good at cooking. The men in the coal mines liked the food that they cooked.
Right.
And so they did that for a while, but they ended up buying a restaurant in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Hopkinsville, Kentucky was their first one.
So they worked there for a while. And that, I believe, if I can read my notes right, is where Angelo met Ruby Irene.
Ruby Irene, yes.
And this is going to become his wife. And this would become Ann's mother. But he saw Ruby. He wanted to marry her. Now, Ruby at the time worked in a phone office. And anyway, that was in Hopkinsville, I believe.
She worked in a telephone office in Hopkinsville. And I actually, can you show that old black and white picture of them, of the family after they started having children? Let's just show a picture.
This is who we're talking about.
This is who we're talking about. Okay, so here's what I've got on this. So we've got, now you're going to have to help me with the names.
Okay.
Cleophilia, is that how you say that?
Uh-huh.
Cleophilia is the one, I think she's the oldest one.
Yes.
One with the standing out. So first of all, you see Ruby Irene is the lady on the far left, the older lady.
That's the
and
mother.
then Angelo is on the right.
Yep.
Okay. And then Cleophilia is back there. Mm-hmm. Mary Jane, I think, is the one behind Dad.
Uh-huh.
Ramona is the little one standing up next to Mom. Of course, sweet little Ann Venable is sitting on Mom's lap. And then the boy is William Angelo.
We're going to talk about him later on.
So this is the entire, this is the Angelo family. I mean, they, like I said, they are, like I said, like, because, you know, like, I'm like German-Irish. Okay, German-Irish Scotland. But my family's generational. This is a first family Greek coming over.
Yes. So these two got married in 1920. Actually, October the 18th of 1920. And the one, Cleophilia, the oldest sister, they all called her Fiddle.
Yeah.
All of her life, she was called Fiddle.
I like that.
I kind of think that's sort of a cute name.
That's a cute name.
Yeah.
But after they met, they ended up got married and then they moved to Angelo and Ruby moved to Greenville, Illinois. They moved around. They had a bunch of different restaurants.
They did. You would think, you know, a lot of people in Flora would be like, I remember Angelo's Cafe in Flora. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of Angelo's Cafes in other towns before he made it to Flora. So there was Greenville, and then after that they moved to Salem.
Yeah.
And they sold candy and sold ice cream on a stick like they have at the fair. And it's possible he was the first one to sell ice cream on a stick.
You know what? Do you remember when she was telling us that? Yeah. Whenever she was telling us that story. That was pretty interesting because I feel like he was more than when he was focusing on food, he was focusing on candy, don't you think?
Yeah, he did a lot of candy. Actually, I have that little backwards in how we said it. Salem was the first place they went, and then they went to Greenville.
Oh, okay.
And then after Greenville, they went to Effingham and had a restaurant there for a while. Then they left Effingham, and then they went to Xenia, and they had a restaurant there for a while. And then they finally ended up in Flora with a restaurant, and it was Angelo's Cafe, and it was located right downtown. There was different locations over the years, but the first location was the little one, right?
Yeah, the little one. Let's go back before we jump into all the restaurants here. They also had, I forgot to mention, they also had the oldest child was William Harold, who actually passed away at 6 months old.
Oh, right, yeah.
And remember when Ann was telling us that baby is buried over in Salem.
Near the Gypsies.
Near the Gypsies. Beth and I, it was really weird. We need to dive into a little bit of Salem history.
Yeah, we definitely do.
When Beth and I, because we were like, where were we coming home from? Oh, Centralia.
We went to Centralia.
We went to Centralia.
To the Mine Museum.
Yeah, and so we were coming back, and it was like pretty much at the same time. I've always wanted to go through that. I want to see the Gypsies, so we whipped in there, and there were a lot of babies. It was, and I know that like every cemetery you see babies that are born, but I'm not kidding you. At the Salem Cemetery, it was like every step we took, it was like baby, baby, toddler, baby, 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 baby. Yeah. There were so many of them. And we literally were only over there by the Gypsy side.
And they were all different years.
It was crazy.
It's not like a virus came through and took them all out at the same time. They were all different years. Yeah. I'm like, this is a little weird.
Yeah. Oh, we got to talk about the funny. Okay, so there was when they I don't know if it was the Effingham restaurant or the Greenville where Angelo made candy. Yeah, and Ann told us the funniest story. So he makes this candy, right? Well, apparently the banker in the town just took it upon himself to come into the restaurant and eat candy.
Oh, right.
And not pay for it.
Yes.
So he would come in. So you got this banker who's got money coming into the restaurant. She didn't really say if he was eating or anything. But
he would just come by and grab candy out of the jar.
And I have a feeling that Ann's dad was quite the character. So then, apparently he must have just went to the exact same place to get the candy every time, the chocolate. So Angelo started filling the chocolate full of garlic.
Yes.
So he made garlic candy. Well, it only took a couple times for the banker to quit coming by and swiping the candy. Well, who would do that?
I don't know. I guess he felt entitled. Well, that he loaned him the money for the business so he gets free candy for life. I don't know.
I don't know, but I thought that was I thought that was a really, So he put a bunch of and he never ate it again. So I have a feeling that he was a little bit, I think he was quite the character.
Let's see. Ty, pull up another picture and let's see what one. Yeah, we can look at that one.
That's a whole, okay. Wow. What do we got here?
So this is, Ann Venable is standing in the red in the center, okay? And then that is her mother, Ruby Irene, in front of her. And at this point, she is already over 100 years old. Ruby Irene lived to be almost 105. She was 2 weeks away from turning 105 years old when she passed away.
I'm giving her 105.
I'm giving her 105 too, because if you count time in the womb, that's when life begins.
Well,
then she's actually totally made over 105. So now her father had already passed away at this point, so he's not in this picture. But Angelo himself lived to be 89 years old. So longevity is in these genes, and this is all of the family here.
I love that picture. Where are they at?
I don't know. I don't know where this is.
Ann Venable is one of my favorite people in the world. Look how cute she is.
Yep. Let's look at do you have a picture of a younger lady, Ty, that I sent in a white uniform?
Is it black and white?
Yep. Yes.
Oh, that's Ann.
This is Ann Venable back when she was working for her dad at Angelo's Cafe.
I'm going to sit here and I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay.
Because does that not look just like Ann Venable?
Oh, yeah. It's Ann through and through.
It is. If I'm sitting here, if somebody threw up this picture, if this came back, you remember years ago they used to have a mystery picture, which I said
in the Hometown
I
Journal,
wanted to do in the Hometown Journal, and I haven't done it yet. But I would recognize her.
Yes.
Her eyes.
Yes, that's Anne, and she definitely has a very Greek look to her. But also, later we're going to talk a little bit about her Native American heritage too, and she's sort of like the perfect combination of the two.
Right.
Just leave that up there for a moment, please, Ty. So back then, all waitresses actually wore nurses' uniforms. So she was all in white. She had to wear all white, and she had to wear nursing shoes, the all-white nursing shoes. That was the protocol. She had a white apron, white dress, and her hair pulled back. And I think she had something white in the back of her hair. I'm not sure. Sometimes she had a cap on, I think she said. But this picture was taken at one of the Angelo's locations. So the first Angelo's location was not the tiny one. It was where North Wayne Insurance Agency is
Wayne.
On East North Avenue in Flora. That was the first one. That was the original.
I've lost my notes.
The original Angelo's Cafe.
Yes.
And then later it moved to where Tangle's Salon is, and it was a very long, narrow kind of coffee shop. Angelo's.
Which it's kind of interesting because her daughter and Ann's daughter-in-law is Tammy Venable. So she said, now see, I don't remember North Wayne Insurance, but I remember Angelo's being in that cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Because like when you would walk into there right now, literally it was so small and then like it was just like a bar.
For those that aren't from here, it's a very narrow building that we're talking
long
about.
And narrow.
Long and narrow. So you would walk in and this picture of Ann was taken in there. So you can see she's kind of close to one wall. It's a little hard to see, but I'm sure that she told me this was taken in the small one. And then let's go to another picture, Ty. It's black and white as well, and they're all in a restaurant. Let's see if you can find that one. We've sent him so many, and they're not.
Poor Ty.
They're not labeled.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, yes.
So this is the inside of Angelo's, and this is the location where Tangle's is.
No, that's not Tangle's.
Are you sure? I thought that's
too
what
wide.
she told me.
That's way too wide. That's not Tangle's. I would imagine this is North Wayne's.
Okay.
It's definitely not Tangle's because like Tangle's, I think, was not that wide.
Okay. I have the caption on this picture.
Yeah, go see. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
While I look for that, let's just talk about this photo anyway.
I love the photo, though.
Look at that cute tiled floor. I love that.
Yeah, because I do remember. I do, because I was thinking, like, when it was, that might be the Tangle Salon, but it's not as, because, like, I was thinking that, like, when you walked in, like, where the gentlemen are sitting on the counter, that's all I remember, that it was just like a walkway. But no, that might be Tangle's. That's really neat, though. I bet it is. You're probably right.
The waitress behind the counter is Gracie White, and the waitress beside the booth is Harriet White.
Okay. And a lot of people work for Angelo's, come to find out. Hey, we're going to take...
This one was at North Wayne Insurance.
That's
used to
North
be Buckley Insurance. Yeah,
let's take a quick commercial break, because we're gonna get to talking on this one and lose track of time. Okay. We'll be right back, and we'll talk more about this picture, because I truly love it.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We are discussing a very cool photo of Angelo's Cafe.
Yeah, pull that back up. Wait a minute.
That we had in Florida, yes. And so, love this photo. Look how tiny those tables were. Like, they were very...
Well, because people weren't fat.
No, they weren't. And it just looks like a good place to go get a cup of coffee and sit around and, like, see what's going on in town.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the North Wayne Insurance office. Now, you said Buckley Insurance
It was
in
Buckley
there?
Insurance before it was
Is that what it was?
That's who Bill Atwood bought it from.
Oh, okay, so it was Angelo's and then Buckley's and then...
Well, this was from 1930s, and Buckley's weren't until like the late 70s, 80s. So yeah, there was maybe somebody else in there between. So.
I love the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I love the design of the back, that little cubby hole back there. Can you imagine the chitter chatter going on in that joint?
No. Look at the old hats on the hat stand.
I mean,
it's just
it's fantastic.
And what's interesting to me is that the men that are eating at the counter have their hats on.
Oh, yeah.
Because my husband has never eaten a meal with a hat on. We could be standing at the state fair, and he gets a corn dog, and we don't even have anywhere to sit, and he will take his hat off to eat his corn dog.
Really?
He was raised, you do not wear a hat in church. No. You do not wear a hat while you're eating. While you sit at a table, you do not. And so our kids don't do that, and the hats come off. So it's very interesting to me that these guys left their hat on while they're sitting there eating.
But I wonder if it's, I don't know, Jim wears those hats. Jim's a hat guy, and I'm thinking whenever he's in church and that type of thing that he doesn't wear, he takes his hats off. But I'm trying to think in restaurant, like if we're on the beach or what, I don't know. I have to pay attention to what he does.
My husband was raised to never wear a hat while you're eating, and I have never seen him do it.
Interesting.
Even when standing up.
Well, so like when we talk about, let's go back a little bit and talk about the brother George.
Yes.
Because George was ended up picking Angelo up, and then they actually started all the restaurants together, Angelo's restaurants.
They were a pair.
They were a pair, right? But then George decides that he's done.
Yes.
He doesn't want to do the restaurant business.
He splits off.
So George splits, and he moves to Charlotte, was that South or North Carolina? Charlotte, North Carolina? Is Charlotte, North Carolina?
I wrote it down.
It is North Carolina, isn't it? Yeah, because I get Charlotte and Charleston mixed up.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yes, that's where he moved.
And he actually went into the hotel business.
Yes.
So George has got the city vibe.
Yeah.
Where Angelo likes the small town vibe.
He actually bought a hotel.
He bought a hotel.
So he had saved up some money, I think, to be able to do that.
Now, and George had a son and a daughter, and he had a son named Tommy.
Yes.
Okay. And his son was actually in World War II, and was actually shot down somewhere over Alaska.
Yes.
And they never did find his body.
His son was actually a dentist in St. Louis.
Yeah.
He was a dentist in St. Louis, and then he got called to be in the service. And then he was killed and never found. So that's a sad story. The daughter, her name was Sophie.
Now tell that story. This is a crazy.
She actually died of lung cancer at an old age. So Sophie lived a good life, but she had a daughter, and her name was Sherry, and she was murdered by her husband.
Yeah.
And he took the kids and...
Yeah. So how crazy is that?
Yeah, so that's sad, very sad.
But here's where we're at. So we're like talking. I got to talk a little bit about how the conversation went with Ann. It was literally like, because when you sit down and you start having a conversation with somebody about their family, it's not like you go in order. It's just like, oh, this happened, and bing, bing,
and
bing,
that's why
bing,
we're going to
bing.
bounce around a little
And that's
bit
why
because
we are,
our conversation bounced around a little bit.
It did bounce around. So, like, we're like, Ann will start telling us a story, and we're getting into that story, and then it'd be like, okay, so wait a minute. So what happened before that? So we tried to get it in some sort of order, but like, and she was just like, oh yeah, then she had a daughter named Sherry, and she was killed by her husband, and he took the kids, and we're like,
wait, what? What'd you say?
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how she. Oh yeah, she had daughter Sherry, and he died. He was shot down over Alaska, and then Sherry, that was his niece. She was. We're like, what happened to the
She talks so fast. We love you, Ann. She went through it really quick.
We're like, what happened to the children?
Yeah,
and we don't know.
We don't know, and I don't think she knows.
She doesn't know.
No,
I'm like, did he go to jail? What happened? She doesn't know.
Yeah.
But that was hysterical. That absolutely was hysterical. Now where are we going to go?
Ty, pull up another picture. Let's see what I have next. Just start putting them in some kind of order, and I'll tell you when to show them. Okay, let's look at this one. This is...
love this picture.
Yeah.
Guys.
So this is... which one is this?
This looks like a Cherokee side of the family.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
It's not? This is still Greek?
Yes.
Is this George?
This is George and his family. So that is George sitting in the front with his family. And I said, the strange thing about this, Anna, is that these are all Greek people, but the man in the back, especially on the left, he looks like he would be from your... Native American heritage. And she said, isn't that strange? She said, I never looked at him really like that.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
She's like, no, these people are full-blooded Greek, and this was George's family. So this is George, the brother of Angelo, okay? So really neat picture from the early 1900s, and I don't have all of their names. I think that she might have told me, but I didn't get all of that written down. So, okay, let's go to the next picture, Ty.
Got any more family pictures?
Okay, cute. So here we go. So this is Angelo and Ruby Irene in their later years. How cute are they? They have a cake there. I wonder if they're having an anniversary. But this looks like it was probably taken in, I don't know, the 60s maybe?
Probably, or early 70s.
But how cute are they? And they weren't very big people. I mean, Angelo was only, I think she said 5'4".
Yeah.
It's on one of the certificates I took a picture of, but and I don't think that she was any taller than that. So, yeah, very cute.
I want to, they are cute. I want to talk a little bit about some of the conversations we had about some of the people who visited Angelo's.
Okay, yeah, that's Flora. Next on my list, too.
Good. Well, gosh, we're good at this,
we're
aren't we?
Good, okay.
So let's talk a little bit. I never heard this guy, Victor Mature.
Yeah,
He was the actor who played Samson.
Oh, okay.
Remember, he came.
Yes, that's what she said.
And then the Busch beer fan. Oh,
yeah.
Tell that, Beth.
Okay,
so the Anheuser-Busch beer. Tell
August
that story.
Busch and his family from St. Louis came.
This is
because
crazy.
You have to remember, this was right on Route 50. I mean, this was
new Route 50.
New Route 50 didn't exist. So if you were traveling from St. Louis to anywhere, Vincent's, whatever, you went right through downtown Flora. So people stopped there to eat. And this August Busch and his family came through, and when they ordered, they specifically asked the waitress to cut up the son. They ordered meat for the son, and they wanted all of his meat cut up. It wasn't the thing is, though, he wasn't a toddler. He wasn't a child. He was old enough to cut his own meat, or at least for them to lean over and help him. But no, they had very specific instructions for the waitress, and that's the only thing I wrote down, but she said there were other things too that they were very specific on. You could tell they were like used to having, like, they're probably their own private chef or something.
It's like, she said the son of August Busch had his food cut up for him. The waitress did it. He was spoiled.
Very spoiled.
And then, of course, then we had Beth, you remember the Shelton Gang story?
So I don't know if I told this story on the Shelton Gang episode.
We did vaguely, but now that we're talking about Angelo's, let's talk a little bit more.
So Ann told me this story about how one day at the cafe, there was a man came in, sat down, started eating, and the whole time that he was eating, there was another man on the sidewalk just walking back and forth the whole time while this other man was eating. And I think her dad even walked by the guy that was eating, and said a few things to him. And it was nice and polite and everything. And then the man left, and he went and there was a very shiny, fancy car outside for him. And he went and got in the car. The other man, who had been walking to and fro, also left with him. Never came in and ate, that guy. Although, in hindsight, I bet he was hungry too.
He was probably.
And anyway, whenever he left, someone walked up to Angelo and said, "Hey, do you know who that was?" And Angelo's like, "No, I have no idea. Who was it?" And he said, "That guy was from the Shelton Gang." And I don't know if it was Carl or which Shelton it was, but that was part of the Shelton Gang. So what had happened is, let's just say it was Carl, had came in and eaten and had a guard on the sidewalk, and the guard was armed, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
And walking back and forth while
he was in there
Carl
eating.
Shelton went in to eat. And and then they left. And he said and it's typical Shelton story, super nice, very polite.
Super nice. Probably left a big tip.
Yep. You would never know that he probably just, took out 10 people. Anyway,
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you have any more famous people? Because I'm going to talk about some of the workers that were there.
No, you go ahead with the workers.
So some of the workers that worked there at Angelo, well, one of them was my grandmother, Iris Hemphill.
Okay.
Iris worked there. She was a cook there at Angelo's. That was my dad's mother, who she died when my sister Diane was little, so I did not get to ever meet Iris. But Iris worked there. Mabel Sefton was a cook there. You remember the story where she said she fried chicken, like the freshest chicken ever, because would kill them on like the Vaughn's store. Did you miss the part of the Vaughn's building?
Yeah, so the Vaughn building used to be called the Tego building, T-I-G-O, Tego building.
Yes.
And that was part of it was the Tego locker, meat locker. And that was where a lot of the fresh meat was stored for Angelo's.
Yeah. And they literally said that, Mabel would go, and if she wanted chicken, she'd go kill that chicken and pluck it. And so when you ate chicken at Angelo's, it was fresh
Yeah, and there
chicken.
was somebody that was new, and they had gotten a chicken, and they were back there just pulling one feather out at a time. And she came in and was like, "Let me have it." And then she just shut that thing within 2 minutes flat. I think we
don't have time for you to pluck feather.
We don't have time for that.
So that was really Beulah Schneider was a waitress, and then she talked a little bit about when Frank Chaney came in, and he always read a newspaper.
Yes, Frank and Claire.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you remember that story?
Yes.
I don't remember Beulah Snyder.
I don't either, but she must have been a pistol.
I would have loved Beulah. Tell the story.
Yeah, so they came in every day to read the paper. And I don't know if they didn't order food. They just sat there and read the paper. But anyway, it drove Beulah, who was the waitress, crazy because I'm sure if they weren't ordering food, like she wanted someone to sit there that was probably going to have a tab that was going to pay for things.
Right.
They just took up space. So she got tired of it one day, and so she just lit that paper on fire.
Right there in the restaurant. Lit it on fire. I love that. That's the greatest thing ever.
I asked Ann, I'm like, so after that, did they quit coming in to read the paper? She's like, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's pretty much, that's a lot of what I have.
But yeah, Ann started working there. She started cooking when she was 8 years old.
Well, let's talk a little bit more before we talk about how Ann is an amazing cook in the Angelo's restaurant that I actually went and ate. But the fact that her dad, Angelo, was quite the entrepreneur. This man, he bought farms. Remember,
yes.
He was a farmer. Mm-hmm. He had oil, and he bought oil rights.
Yes,
he was Angelo was a very generous. He made good investments. He was an entrepreneur all the way around, and he was very generous. He was a very generous man, and he gave to many people. Mm-hmm. And we need to take another commercial break, and we're going to come back, talk a little bit about Ann Venable, and tell that fun story about her great-grandmother, the Cherokee, and that's how we'll end our story, because it's pretty cool. We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me order lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We are discussing the family of Ann Venable today, and we're talking about the Shrikus family, the Greek family that ran Angelo's Cafe. We have more pictures. Let's see this one, Ty. How cute is this? I believe this is Ruby Irene on the back of a motorcycle, and I believe she was over 100 years old at this point.
How cute.
I know. Darn it. Still going for
I'm in love with that woman.
I know. Yes, okay, so that's super cute. Love her. Let's see what other ones I sent in. Okay, so this is a menu from World War II of what their Thanksgiving dinner was. So this is from, actually, this is, I think, World War I.
Stuffed olives. I'd kill to have a stuffed olive right now.
No, this is World War II. This is William Shrikus. This is Ann's brother. We're going to show a picture of him in just a second. This was his menu at Thanksgiving when he was in World War II, and I thought this was interesting because at the very bottom, cigarettes. So they had rice, turkey soup, stuffed olives, sweet pickles, hearts of celery, roast of a young turkey, cranberry sauce, sage dressing, giblet gravy, baked spiced ham, orange pineapple sauce, creamed whipped potatoes, fresh buttered peas, boiled onions, fresh buttered broccoli, quartered lettuce, mayonnaise dressing, hot mince pie, pumpkin pie, fruit cake, mixed nuts, ice cream, assorted fruits, hot rolls, coffee, and cigarettes. I love that.
That's a great picture.
So I hope that the young men who are in the service today that have to spend their Thanksgivings overseas. I hope they get something that is this good, because that all really does sound fine.
Right.
I don't know if it was as good as what it sounds like, but
Did you ever read at Angelo's when Ann had it?
No, this wasn't Angelo's.
I know. Oh, this was just the menu?
No, this is from World War II.
Oh, wow.
This is what the men in World. This was her brother's menu that he brought home from World War II.
And you've got a picture of him, don't you?
Yes. So let's go to the picture of the servicemen. So that's what the men ate while they were serving.
William Angelo.
This is William Angelo Shrikus, and I am going to talk about him for a minute because he really has his own story, and it's good to remember these soldiers that did this. But I'm going to read this bottom to you because he got so many awards. He enlisted and entered active service on April the 9th, 1943 at Naval Training Station, Great Lakes, Illinois, trained as a radio operator at Naval Training School, Auburn, Alabama, qualified as a crewman at Motor Torpedo Boat Station, Portsmouth, Rhode Island, went into combat with Motor Patrol Torpedo Boat Squadron 36 in the Pacific Theater. Operating in vicinity of the Philippine Islands, he was awarded the American Campaign Medal, the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal with 3 bronze battle stars, the Philippine Liberation Medal, the World War II Victory Medal, and the Good Conduct Medal, honorably discharged as a radio man, 3rd class, on February the 10th, my birthday, 1946 at Great Lakes, Illinois. So,
wow.
5 awards. Now, when he came home, he used to tell everyone that he had saved the codes. There was some kind of things where he was on a ship, it was going under, it was sinking. He put on 3 life jackets because he couldn't swim, and somehow he saved the codes. I don't know exactly what that meant. Anne didn't know exactly what that meant, and she didn't ask a lot of questions back then. So it was he saved the codes as the ship was sinking. This, folks, is a real hero.
That
right
is a
here.
real hero.
William Shrikus.
Now,
this was Angelo's son. This is Anne's brother.
And is he passed? And is she the only living one?
Passed away. I believe she's the only one left.
And they're all buried at Elmwood, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not sure that William is, but most of our family is. Yeah. So anyway, that's a cool story.
That's a cool story.
What other picture do I have?
He's good looking too. Good looking boy.
Okay, this was from the Centennial book. This is from 1954. That all of the staff at Angelo's was dressed up for the Centennial. They were dressing like 1854. So you have Angelo there on the left, and then you have Edna Tullett, Catherine Williams, and Teresa Lundgren. These were the waitresses at the time. So Angelo's Coffee Shop, a booster for Flora at all times. So I thought that was a cute picture.
That's right.
Let's see what else I know we're. Oh, okay. This is. This was the one that was shot down over Alaska.
That's George's son.
George's son. He was a dentist in St. Louis and shot down over Alaska, never found. So good-looking guy. You can definitely.
That's a good-looking family, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, the Greek coloring and those thick eyebrows. I mean, beautiful
that dark,
people.
They're beautiful.
Yes, tall. I don't know how tall they were, but they're definitely dark and handsome.
Well, I'm going to tell you because I'm going to be in Greece in about 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, you can report back.
I'm going to report back.
Okay, let's see what other pictures I sent in. I think there's okay.
Oh, I sent that one, and that's their marriage certificate.
Yes, this is Angelo and Ruby.
And Ruby's.
I thought it was cool too.
I just wanted to have a picture of it. Not gonna lie.
The old-fashioned marriage
certificate. Beautiful.
Okay. So let's talk about these two because we're gonna switch gears a little bit here. This is Willie Ann, Mandy Jane, Trosper, Haley, Tomes. This is Anne's grandparents on the other side. So this is not the Greek side. This is the Native American side.
This is the Native American. Okay. Cherokee, correct?
Cherokee. So this is William Levi Tomes, or Tomes. I'm not sure how to say it. And then he's married to Willie Ann. And Willie Ann, her mother, was full-blooded Cherokee. So Willie Ann is half Cherokee. And then this is her husband here.
Because her husband does, I wonder what, Because that's that her mother was the full-blooded Cherokee.
Yes,
that we have the picture with the actual ceremony.
So let's go to that. Do I have any other pictures besides that one I told you was last?
We've got 3 more.
Three more.
Okay, let's see what else we got.
Okay. This is World War I. This is Jim Toms. This is also Native American heritage, and he served in World War I. Mm-hmm. Really cool picture there.
That's a good picture.
Let's keep going. Okay, this is the Immigrant Wall of Honor for Angelo that he got from Ellis Island, official certificate of registration. So that's pretty neat.
That is
great
really
thing
cool,
to have.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep. It's signed by Lee Iacocca too. I don't know if you noticed that, but okay. This is Angelo's.
What's that?
The original, like his certificate of citizenship.
Oh, okay. That's what that looks like.
When he came over. Yeah. Yeah. This is the picture that they took of him on Ellis Island. I think. Well. It might have been later. He looks older.
He does look like, because he was young when he came. Uh-huh.
But this is when he got his naturalization. Let's see what the year is on that.
Gosh, your eyes are, I can't see. Can you see?
This is how I knew he was 5'4". At the
time, he was 40.
He was 40 when this picture was taken?
Citizenship. Okay. September of 35.
Oh, so I bet that is because he didn't get his citizenship right off the bat.
But he did become a citizen. And another thing about him is that she said that there was another Greek family that lived in an old house back behind where DiMaggio's is.
Yeah.
And they, a lot of times, would speak Greek instead of English. Mm-hmm. And he went to them and he said, "You are Americans now. You speak English."
Yeah.
Even though he was an immigrant, he was like
a proud American.
He was a very proud American. Mm-hmm. You came to live here. You are honoring this country. No one is going to trust you if you're always speaking your own. If you're only speaking your own language, learn English, speak English.
Bravo.
And they did. Okay, so
bravo.
What other?
Well, I think we're starting on our last one because
that was 3. Okay, do you want to show the picture first or talk about it first?
Well, okay, so let's talk about great-grandma.
Okay.
The great-grandma, full-blooded Cherokee.
Yes.
And she's passed away.
Yes.
And apparently this is how they do burials.
Right.
She is in a box canoe. No, wait.
She's in a casket.
Yes. And basically they
took the casket and they put it into a canoe.
Uh-huh.
And then they sent her down the river. And that was how they buried her.
Yeah. Show the picture.
We have a lot of questions. Ann didn't know the answer. She also has a lot of questions.
Look at this.
This story was told to her as she was growing up. She has the photo. That is her great-grandmother in the casket.
Yes.
I believe that is her mother sitting next to the casket. That is Willie Ann. Mm-hmm. The rest of these people are her siblings. Now, you can tell that some of them look more Native American than others.
Yes.
But they are all her children. But her husband, I don't think, was Native American. I'm not positive if she had more than one husband. But this woman, she had a pretty incredible life because she was actually traveling through Tennessee. This all happened, I believe, around the time of the Trail of Tears, or somehow still in that whole frame of mind, that they were forced to walk through Tennessee. And while they were passing through Tennessee, she and her family hid in a cave. Mm-hmm. And they stayed hidden in that cave for a long time before they kind of started venturing out again. They settled in Tennessee. And they did not continue west like they were supposed to. And that is where I believe she passed away.
Yeah.
And
then they put her
and they did an actual Cherokee ceremony where they took the casket and put her into a canoe and then sent her
down the river.
So then
Very interesting story.
An interesting story, but a lot of open-ended questions that I didn't dig into, but there was a question of whether they set it on fire, because that was a thing. You could set it on in kind of an early way of cremation, or was it just set down the river and somebody found it months later?
Never know. Nobody knows.
I don't know.
Nobody knows, but that's a pretty cool picture.
Yes.
All right. And then later on in life, Ann took over Angelo's. Her and Jean Venable had it for 10 years.
Yes.
They got old. Everybody gets old, retires, and bada boom. Mm-hmm. That's the story of the Shirikas family. Shirikas family.
And I did want to add that Ann grew up on East 6th Street in that house that's right behind Frankenbright Funeral Home. It has a yellow side on it.
Yep.
That's where she grew up. So
that's our story on Angelo's. Yeah. And we're going to end because we only got 30 seconds left.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we're going to end on our Jack Handy quotes.
Okay, what do you
got? I like this one. Before you criticize someone, walk a mile in their shoes. That way, you'll be a mile from them, and you'll have their shoes.
I actually remember when that aired. Yeah, I love that. On that note, we'll get out of here.
On that note, we're done.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.